girl Jasmine, aka After Curly Top, and welcome back. So today I'm excited to do a little Q&A because I realized I haven't done one in like a hot minute on here. The last video I did, I feel like a lot has changed since then, and I feel like I actually didn't really answer that many questions, so I promise this time I'm actually going to go through as many questions as possible. And the difference this time too is that I didn't look through the questions beforehand, so I'm going into this completely in the dark, like I have no idea what's happening. So I'm going to go through all of them as fast as I can, and I have no idea what's in store. And before we get started, I'm gonna start with a little bit of bubbly. It's a little early for me to be drinking right now, so I'm gonna do a little bit of kombucha. I love Health Aid kombucha, not sponsored. The pomegranate, chef's kiss. It's beautiful. So we're gonna pour in this little thrifted cup that I got not too long ago. Oh, try to do better this time. I'm trying to get all cute. Ooh. Cheers. Great. Taking care of our guts and taking care of the planet. Look at us go. The first question is, how do you do self-care, hair, skin, etc. while still being sustainable for the planet? And I'm assuming they probably mean like getting your hair done, nails did, everything did. And I feel like it's truly a balance. Like I think that taking care of yourself is a huge part in sustainable activism, because I think activism isn't sustained without joy. And I think those little bits and moments of just like treating yourself to something is like great. And I know for a lot of people, they had asked me about like when I have like my little press-on nails. I currently don't have them on now and I feel a little bit naked. But even like my press-on nails, I came to the decision that I think that's okay, even though they're technically plastic. But I wanted to get like my nails all did. And I feel like for me personally, press-ons were like the most sustainable I can get with them, just because I'm able to support mainly like BIPOC women who are making handmade designs. And I think that's a really awesome way to support their art and also support other BIPOC women out there. So, you know, it's all a balance, like everything's a balance. Recommendations on sustainable bras. The first ones that come to mind are, I'm so bad at answering brand names. I know Naja's really good. Proclaim is amazing. I love Proclaim bras. Oh, I also love Jonesy. Jonesy bras are amazing too. To be honest, I don't really wear a lot of bras. I usually just like wear swimwear as tops. I'm currently doing that now. I also use Nippies a lot. Nippies are like this reusable like nipple covers. Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? I don't know. Free the nip. I'm just kidding. But I wear a lot of nipple covers just because I don't really like wearing bras. So I like wearing more sports bras or anything. So a lot of the ones I recommended are that. But I know Naja has like some like underwire bras, and yeah, those are the first ones that come to mind. There's a lot of amazing ones out there, but those are just the first ones. Someone asked, this is so embarrassing to ask. Nothing's too embarrassing to ask. But what sussy brand to use for your period? So for me, I really love using my Dot cup. Nice because it's like a little black like menstrual cup. And once I went menstrual cup, I never wanted to go back. I remember tried using tampon once and it was just so uncomfortable. Like I feel like it took me a while to get the hang of a Dot cup, but it's just so comfortable. Like I forget that I have it there. It's just nice to already have like my menstrual products like ready to go when my period comes. So I use that, and then I also use like cotton liners, like when I'm like lighter and like the Dot cup's just a little too much. I get some from Target. I don't know which brand it's called. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. I'll put it here. But then I use just like some cotton like panty liners. I tried using reusable ones, but it just wasn't personally for me. Best cheap eats in San Diego. Honestly, there's like a taco shop on every other corner. You could get a burrito for like pretty, I think that's honestly the most fairly priced thing you get here in San Diego is like some sort of Mexican food. That's all I gotta say on the matter. It speaks for itself. How do you make friends as an adult? Just graduated and it's hard. Yeah, I think making friends as an adult is very difficult. And I just noticed someone else asked me, do I find it easier to make friends offline or online? And I feel like honestly, as an adult, it's been so much easier for me to find friends online. I think what I personally like is that I hate small talk. Instagram kind of cuts that out for you a little bit. You're able to find people who are into your same interest or same background, or like you're able to find something online in common, which is why you follow them in the first place. And then I think being able to like then meet that person in real life kind of helps like seal that connection. Like you kind of get over the initial hump of like saying hi to a stranger, because I'm so bad at that. I've always been so bad at that. Like I get major social anxiety meeting new people. I don't think people really know that about me. I get really anxious meeting new people. So I feel like as an adult, it's been easier for me to find and keep friends with internet people than it has been in like my initial community and surroundings. I don't know if that speaks to our day and age or what, but for me, it's just how it's been. Fave ethical makeup brands. My first ones, I've really liked using Well People a ton. I like PYT Beauty, I like Range Beauty, I like Plain Jane Beauty, Tower Beauty. Oh, I actually did like a YouTube video featuring specifically BIPOC ethical clean makeup brands recently, so you could go check that out. And I use all their products like literally all the time. What's your opinion on renting clothes, and do you know if it's sustainable? So I know there was an article that was circulating around about how unsustainable renting clothes has been and is. My thing with it, I actually think the model itself does work when people change their mind shift of just consuming less in general. I think you can honestly apply this mentality to thrifting or buying sustainably like new. They're all sustainable options. Like I think renting is awesome if you need like some big fancy gown for like, or some kind of like party dress for something special, and doing that once in a while. I think that's a great model. But I just think with like everything that we're dealing with and what we're trying to combat with a more sustainable fashion like lifestyle is just consuming less in general. And I think that entire article about renting just really pointed towards that. So I wouldn't discount renting as a sustainable option, but like with everything, just watch your consumption. Since when and how did you realize that you were meant to live a sustainable life? I started living a more sustainable lifestyle, or be more conscious of aware of sustainable living when I was in college. After like a few classes I took and a club I was in, I just realized that the way I was living, I wanted to be more sustainable. And I speak about this in How to Quit Fast Fashion video. And for me personally, it started with me quitting fast fashion and then realizing other aspects of my life could be better for the planet and people, so I started that journey. But I think the thing is, it's like we're all meant to live a sustainable lifestyle, and not in a way where we all have to become activists, but in a way where like previous to capitalism, previous to the current systems that we're in, we were inherently living more sustainable lifestyles. Like we weren't killing the planet. And I think there just has to be a different thing where it's like, I think in a sense where like you were meant to do that. Like I don't know if they meant like you, like me, Jasmine, you were meant to do this. And I don't know if that's where that person's coming from, but I do think just like, instead of like taking the onus of like putting me on a pedestal or someone else on a pedestal or whatever, what is it? Like, I think just kind of going back to the idea of like, we're all meant and deserve to live a sustainable lifestyle, because inherently that's how we were supposed to live, and it was a happier and more holistic way of living. And I kind of want that for us all. How old is our kitty Tofu? She is turning 2 this next month. She is a Leo baby, so this is her season, this is her month, my little baby. She's so cute. Is there something that you look for in friends? What kind of people do you want around? I know I kind of touched on this earlier in this video, but I feel like with me and friends, it has been always really difficult for me to have and to hold friendships. But I think it's something that like more so on my end, I'm just like learning how to allow myself to be vulnerable and create community and have those kind of friendships. And I think that I just really value and need to find people who give me grace and be able to have those friendships. I think obviously it's really nice to have people who are into similar interests and hobbies as you, or similar styles or aesthetics. But I think what really comes down for me at the end of the day, and where a majority of my friends are just like people who really create space for me to be just me and be there for me. I think at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for from friends, is just being able to hold space for one another and everything that life throws at you. Have you ever judged, even subconsciously, someone because they shop fast fashion? Yes, when I first became passionate about this. I think this is similar for anybody who becomes passionate about like advocating for something. I think as you mature, specifically on your sustainable journey, and again, I think this applies for everything, I think you begin to realize how much nuance and gray space there is, and just like realizing that there can be one way of doing anything, and that I think it really takes everybody's different perspectives and abilities together, and it's not gonna look like what you and I do. Honestly, younger Jazz was immature to all of that and did judge people for that, and like, I made the decision, why can't you? And it's like, people have different reasons for why they can't, and I think encouraging people to just to do what they can is all we can do, and not to judge anyone because you don't know where they're coming from. Do you ever thrift things that aren't your size and then tailor them to be more modern? No, I don't ever really take things to go get tailored. More so than anything, I'm just like kind of lazy to do so, but I try to be really conscious of where I'm shopping within my own size, to be able to leave like size options for other people who are thrifting. And I think that's something we have to be conscious of, aware of when we're all thrifting, like not doing too many thrift flips, like maybe once in a while. I wouldn't shame anyone for that, but I think constantly buying things that aren't your size and getting them tailored, I don't think that's fair to other people who aren't able to have as many options available to them. But I only get something tailored if I'm like, oh, I want the hem to be like a little shorter, or you know, I want this to be a 2-piece instead of a 1-piece, or you know, like things like that, but not a complete like, or like, you know, like a larger size and like bring it down to like a smaller size. Like I don't think that that's really fair, or at least it's not something I practice and do. How has your lifestyle affected your partner / what is it like trying to date ethically? I started my whole sustainable journey while I was dating Matt, so it wasn't like I was where I'm at now looking to date a partner who may or may not be more like ethical or sustainable. But I would say that whether I was on the dating scene now or even now within a relationship, I think just I need a mutual respect of what I'm doing and my pursuits. Like if I was with someone who like made fun of me for what I'm doing, or thought what I was doing was a joke, or didn't support me in what I was doing, I would just like X-nay, like I can't do that. Because again, I don't think that there's room for shame in this movement. Like I don't think anybody should be shamed to do anything or feel ashamed for fighting for something. So I feel like even within our personal relationship, Matt's been able to do other little sustainable things and has been more conscious and aware of his habits, and has, sorry guys, there's like dogs barking outside. But I feel like Matt's really tried to take different steps in various areas of his life, trying to be more conscious and aware, and I feel like through our relationship he has become more conscious and aware, which is amazing. But our journeys are different. Like everybody's journeys personally are going to be different, and I think that's what I'm respecting within a relationship. But again, he respects my journey and I respect his, and I think that's all I can ask for from a partner. Definitely time for a little kombucha break. Ah, it's so good. What do you do when you're in a style rut / how do you get re-inspired? Definitely happens to me, and I feel like what I do, personally, this is why I love TikTok, is like I see people do like different prompts where it's like things that Powerpuff Girls would wear, or like Tim Burton things, or like, you know, just like there's different like style themes. And for me personally, I work better with like prompts. So being able to have a prompt to try something new always works for me, because I feel like if I just try to mimic someone else's style, or try to mimic something from Pinterest, I feel like I don't know, I feel like I'm not really speaking to my own voice of what I would wear in that moment, which is what I think prompts help me do, where it's like, what would I personally wear in this moment, not like what XYZ person wear in this moment. And I also personally think I get that inspiration from like old cartoons from like the 2000s and 90s, and toys from there. I think that's just more my colorful lifestyle going on. I think that just works for me. I know it doesn't work for everyone, but I love it. Fave wholesome / happy book, TV show, or movie. I don't really read a lot. I'm trying to get better about that, but I don't really read a lot. But when it comes to TV shows or movies, honestly, I probably have to say The Office. I don't think it's a necessarily like wholesome show, but I feel like that's my go-to comfort show. Like if I'm feeling really happy or anxious or really down, I just feel like The Office is just such a go-to for me. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's cozy for me. How do you balance work life and personal life, and how do you allow yourself to take breaks? I'm currently practicing that, and I think I have been better about that. I think my biggest thing that I've been trying to do is just listen to my body and my mind more. I know that that's a personal privilege I have, being able to work for myself and be able to work from home, but I think with that I'm just trying to, like, if my body's just feeling really exhausted, allowing myself to sleep a little bit more, or you know, actually like feed myself on time, take it like, or just like take the day off if I need to. And I feel like since I've been doing that, that's really allowed me to be quote-unquote productive, or just be able to be like a more healthy person. That's been really a game changer for me. How did you fall in love with YouTube, and when did you start posting videos? So fun fact, I actually started my first channel. This is my 3rd attempt at starting a channel. My first channel I started when I was in high school, and it was a DIY type channel, and it was very rough. It was like supposed to be DIY, like it was supposed to be like DIY like comedy type style, and it was really rough, so I ended it there. And then I tried starting it up again in 2018, but I was pretty ambitious and trying to do like weekly videos when I had no idea how to use Adobe, and it was really rough. So I ended up experiencing burnout really quickly with that. But then at the beginning of the pandemic, I started working for this new job that I had, and they had me creating 4 to 5 videos a week, which is pretty insane, but I had to do it because I wanted to keep my job. And I quickly learned how to use Adobe, quickly learned how to be comfortable in front of the camera, because I was not comfortable in front of the camera previous to then. And then I just became comfortable with making videos in general. So then I was like, oh, I could start, you know, maybe making it for myself. And once I eventually ended up leaving the job and doing content creation full time, I was like, I can finally do YouTube full time, and you know, or just at least not do YouTube full time, because I wouldn't consider myself a YouTuber fully, but I would love to be one day. But ever since then, I've just been trying to do those weekly videos and get used to that again. So here I am. Where do you see yourself spiritually now? Curious as I myself am an ex-Christian but not an atheist. So that's yeah, so I feel like that's a huge part from my previous video to now, where I wouldn't consider myself to be a Christian, which that's really weird and difficult for me to say out loud on the internet, but I just feel like I don't identify at all with white American Christianity, which I think that's like 90% of what Christianity looks like here in the States. However, I feel like a lot of my worldview has been shaped by some of the values that are rooted in like what I believe to be true Christianity, and I think fighting for goodness and fairness and for justice is at the root of what I believe in. However, I don't know at this particular moment if that's something I identify with. But on the other hand, I don't think I could ever consider myself to be atheist, because I just feel like there's so much mysteriousness out there that I cannot deny, and things that I've experienced personally that I cannot just say that there's nothing out there that exists. But what that exactly is and what that exactly means, I have no idea, and personally I'm okay with it. And I think that's honestly the best thing I can ask for myself, is being okay with not knowing what I believe in and what's happening, but just doing the best I can. How did you start your influencer journey? I started my little Instagram account and blog at the Curly Top back in like 2015, 2016. I just talked like about my sustainable fashion journey, eventually my sustainable living journey, on my blog and my Instagram. But at the beginning of 2020, I closed my blog out because I got bored of it and wanted to focus on more on video and figuring out more of my Instagram page. And so yeah, and I feel like influencing wasn't really something that was a thing when I first started. It's something that kind of developed over time. So it's just kind of an interesting mix, because I didn't go into it thinking I was gonna be an influencer. I was just like, maybe I was going into it more so thinking I was gonna be a blogger, which I think bloggers kind of like transform now into influencing. So yeah. What has helped the most healing from religious trauma? So I think a lot of us are out there in a similar boat to what I was just speaking to. I think personally for me, what I needed to do is really remove myself from those arenas and those spaces. I think I wasn't able to really reflect on the amount of like hurt and trauma I was actually enduring while I was in those spaces, and I had to remove myself from them and find community elsewhere. And I think being able to give myself grace and just knowing that like I don't have to figure everything out, that's been a huge game changer for me. And I think it takes time. And again, it's like with all traumatic type experiences, even that I personally have gone through, I've gone through a lot of things, guys, that you guys don't even know about, but you know, we're out here surviving. I think all I can do is heal from those things and kind of move on and like take the lessons I've learned from those and, you know, push on through to, I don't know. I'm just a 20-something, I don't know what I'm doing, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. I literally don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best out here, and I feel like I'm not even fully healed from that religious trauma. It's really hard for me to even speak about up on here, and even in my personal life, it's really hard for me to talk about with other friends and family, and I think I'm still in the midst of healing from that. But I think what I've been doing for myself the most to be able to heal is just to give myself space and grace to like not have to figure everything out overnight. Also, sorry, I think I'm just gonna do a little bit more because I feel like this video is getting kind of long already, but I'm doing my best. Do you believe in astrology? I do, not in the sense where it's like my whole life depends on it, but I do talk about it a lot, so I really enjoy talking about astrology. I'm a Cancer sun, Virgo moon, and Aries rising, so. And I feel like this is a combo that people, when they first hear it, they're like, wow, it's so balanced. And I'm like, wait, let me tell you the rest, sweetie. We got a Gemini Venus, Gemini Mars, and Gemini Mercury, so it's a lot. It's a lot going on. Any tips on incorporating sustainability into school / my everyday life as a minor? So I didn't begin my sustainability journey until I was in college. So I could kind of speak into this, but also I wasn't within my household. But whether you're in high school or college or post-grad or whatever, I think the best thing to do is just to keep living your life and doing the best that you can within your limits. And I think people really understand and respect that. So even if you're not able to live your most sustainable lifestyle compared to like the next sustainability person that you see, I think that's totally fine and great, because it's like the people who you are living with, they'll see you like, oh, she like ate more plant-based, or oh, she brought her water bottle, or oh, she like pays attention to environmental news. People really like respect that, and as they're watching you just do the best that you can. And I think alongside too, it's like making sure you're not shaming other people for not living your same lifestyle, but I think people, as you do that, really get inspired to try it themselves. The fact that you're in high school and you already care, I think that's gonna speak volumes for the way you're gonna be able to impact the lives of those around you. I think that's amazing. And that is all I have for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed this little Q&A. I'm gonna finish enjoying this little kombucha, and I'll talk to you soon.